What's up? Dave Duford here. Greetings, salutations. I'm sitting here with Jasmine Judon. She is a new agent with the DIG Agency on our free leads telesales program. She sold 30,000 in AP in her first full month, and I figured why not have her come in and talk about how she was able to write so much business and how she got into the final expense business and hopefully why she likes it. So, Jasmine, how you doing today?
I'm great. How are you, David?
Fantastic. So let's start there. How
Okay.
did you end up at the DIG Agency selling final expense?
Well, I've been following you for a while on YouTube, and when I first came into the industry, I really didn't know too much about it. One of my friends kind of talked me into it and said that it'd be good to do. So when I got my license, I started with one IMO, and they had sent me like a packet that was like this thick of the paperwork, applications. I didn't know what to do. So
Oh, wow.
mentally, I shut down because I didn't know what that was. And they were telling you like you can join the daily huddles and stuff like that. But as a new agent, it was very overwhelming. So I got with another one, and that one is a more popular one, I guess. But I actually had called you when I was at that IMO, and I was explaining how I felt that maybe while the product was great, I was struggling with the marketing aspect of things.
Okay.
So, all in all, I think it was a great company to be with. But as a new agent, I felt that I needed more structure and just some more time learning sales and insurance before I got with that type of setup. So an
Right.
opportunity came for me to do ACA working from home. That was right during the pandemic. And I did that for a few years, ended up learning all that I could about ACA in the marketplace. And I wanted to get back into life. That's when I came across your advertisement on YouTube and you were saying you were recruiting. So I signed up, and then Marty sent me an email, and the rest is here. So that's how I got here.
Cool. So you mentioned, I'm curious, you mentioned the marketing was kind of squirrely. What, what
Yeah.
what exactly do you mean by that?
So I feel like, well, I thought at that time, if you're selling insurance, and just say you're selling insurance, going into it saying you have a kit you're going to receive and, a will, like that's great. It was a great product, fun to do. But I just felt that at that time, if it was going to be about insurance, why not just, let them know that that's
Say
what
it.
we're here for?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
So you were using the bait and switch strategy that
Yeah,
some of these
basically. Yeah.
large IMOs do. Yeah, I think that's a good point to bring up just for the sake of the new people. Like, if you're looking at an agency, always inquire about how the leads are generated, right? Because, like,
Yes.
for example, our leads are fresh. You're working
Right.
fresh leads. Some are aged. They're still pretty good, though. Half of our sales come from leads 90 days or older. But
Right.
there are leads that are for child safety kits or
Mm-hmm.
for something not about insurance. And
Right.
you're supposed to get in the door, sell
Yeah.
that, but then somehow sell policy. And there are people who do it, but it's a grind
It
and
is. It
it's not
was.
for everybody. And a lot of
Right.
people that struggle with that would do well working straightforward leads that understand why you're even calling them.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep.
So what's it like been doing final expense over the phone? So with the other companies, it sounds maybe were you doing any face to face at all, or was it all telesales as well?
It was face to face at that time before the
Really?
pandemic. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. How does telesales compare to that?
Um, Face to face, I think depending on your personality, it's better, but telesales is good too um if you really have the tonality for it and your personality can match that as well. So I think it's about your personality and also being over the phone since they can't see you, they can't,
Right.
feel your energy in person. You have to have the tonality definitely in place over the phone.
Do you like the lifestyle that telesales gives you as far as not having to go anywhere or travel to strange people's homes? I mean, have you like that's part of it?
I do. Doing face to face, it's a lot of driving. Sometimes in neighborhoods that are scary, especially at night if it's a late appointment. So telesales, you don't really have to worry about that. You can be in your home. The most you're going to get, maybe somebody will yell at you, but you're still safe and in your place of comfort.
Yeah, I mean, the worst is you just hang the phone up on them.
Right.
In person, they can do more,
So, yeah, a
so
lot more.
definitely understand.
Yeah.
So, What was the onboarding experience working with us like, as far as getting contracted, learning the system, the scripts? Kind of describe that to somebody who may be looking at joining us.
The onboarding was pretty simple and straightforward. Everything is, well, now we're using School. So all the modules and the programs are set up there so you can review self-paced at your own capacity. If you need help, there are other agents that'll help you. So the onboarding experience was pretty cool. Pretty straightforward, no issues with that or hookups that I had.
What did you have to spend most of your time in, as far as, getting the contracts out of the way? Next step is studying. What do you think in that studying process was the most beneficial to you in actually selling?
To me, it was listening to the calls of the other agents that are still top producers to this day. Also learning about how the systems work. So paying attention to how the dialer works is really, really important.
Yeah.
And I think that'll make or break a lot of things. Mastering the system, which is the dialer and the CRM. If you can get that, spend time focusing on that, you'll do well.
Right. Right. Yeah. Script wise, did you spend a lot of time practicing, rehearsing the script? Was there a lot of
I did.
recordings? Okay.
I did. That helps too.
Yeah.
If you have someone you can role play with, that'll help. Especially if you're new, you really need to. Some people don't like to hear their voice, so they don't want to do the recordings. But if
Yeah.
you can just practice with someone else, it'll help you to get comfortable flowing. So if you have any objections, you're not interjected by someone when they're on the phone. So
Yeah.
that does help a lot.
Cool. What haven't you liked about this last 5 or 6 weeks you've been working with us, as far as the business itself? Is there, I mean, I like asking this question because people watch this, that everybody hears all the good stuff. What about the bad stuff? Because there's always bad stuff with anything.
Well, nothing's perfect, but I wouldn't say it's bad. So if anything, um, sometimes with the leads, you'll get some duds in there, but that's with anything. The main thing
Sure.
is that you actually have people that do come in that are specifically looking for insurance. So you're not having to go through
Yeah.
another mental hassle of trying to coach them into something that they don't want or they're not going to value, and then try to sell them.
Right.
So
Right.
I don't really have any complaints. There may be some technical issues here and there, but that's with anything.
Yeah, I know we're in growth mode over here, and
Right.
that stuff like it happens.
Right.
It's
Right.
I mean, I would say probably if you're watching this and you're new and you're like, okay, like really, Dave, what is bad? The
Mhm.
things you got to be careful of, like chargebacks, right? Like the
Oh,
business that
yeah.
you want to
Yeah.
talk about that?
Well, with chargebacks, yeah. So when you're selling people, you always want to have like a nice sale, of course, but you also want to make sure that you're pricing something reasonable that's not going to lead to a chargeback.
Right.
So when you do your diligence up front, that's not as likely in the end, but some people still cancel just because they want to. So you want to make sure that you have some savings set aside for chargebacks. Starting out, that can be kind of hard, but set aside something, some type of percentage to go towards that, and specifically have an account for chargebacks.
Yeah. So, and just so the new people understand this, like when you get paid, it's called an advance on commission,
Mm-hmm.
and it's required that that plan stays on the books typically for 9 months before you've earned that entire amount. Now, with most
Right.
carriers, if the lapse happens earlier, you keep what you earned or what the client paid. So if Mildred lapses after 3 months of payments, you keep that 3 month portion of your commission, and then you have to pay the rest back. Now, you don't have to usually cut a check. You just have to write more business. But
Right.
Jasmine's point's perfect. Like, don't just take what you've earned and spend it all. You're on a
Right.
straight commission profession. This is anywhere really in this business.
Mm-hmm.
You should have savings and plan for people to lapse. It's not something it's not an exception. It's the rule. Some percentage
Right.
are going to lapse. You don't know who. And having some padding, when it comes
Right.
financially is very helpful. Last question. What advice would you give somebody who is thinking about doing telesales, final expense telesales, life insurance telesales? What advice would you give them to really have the highest chances of success?
If you want to do telesales, you need to be comfortable with being on the phone. If you're transitioning from being face to face, this can be hard for some people. I have some friends that struggled with it. So being on the phone is different. The main thing you want to do is make sure that if you're coming on with DIG, there's support there. Like in the team, everybody supports each other, but mainly just make sure that if you're going to do it, then you're practicing. And then be honest if you really feel that it's for you, because sometimes it's not. But if it
Right.
is, practice. And if you feel like you're struggling, there's support in the team with us for
100%.
help with that.
Yeah, and I was just talking to Jeff Wisdow a moment ago, and he was
Mhm.
like, "This ain't for everybody,"
It's
and
not.
it ain't.
It's not.
We try to get the agents in the application. That's why we do an application interview process.
Yeah.
We want you, really, the agent, to find out well in advance that it's not a good fit. And there's a reason you
Right.
get declined or it doesn't move forward, because we don't see you having the stuff maybe somewhere else, but we don't
Right.
want you wasting your time, certainly not your money, going through licensing and appointments and all that stuff, if we don't think it's a good
Exactly.
fit, because it's a business that can cost you a ton of money if it's a
Yeah,
bad
it
fit.
can.
Well, Jasmine, thank you for being here. And for those of you out there who are interested to learn more about our agency, it's very easy to find us. There's a link below. It's davidduford.com. That's the website. When you go there, you're going to see an overview video of how the DIG agency works and how our different programs work. We do final expense free lead telesales. We also do free lead face-to-face. We do brokers that can buy their own leads, whether selling face-to-face or telesales. Our agency is intensive on training, intensive on support, and helping you become the best producing selling agent that you can be. We are not an MLM. We don't require you to recruit people to recruit people to recruit. We want you to sell and be successful that way. So again, if you want to learn more, go to davidduford.com. And Jasmine, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Dave.